Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a question for you guys. Or, better yet, I have 8 reasons for you to think about if you want to be in the medical field. And this is like radiology, nursing, anything in the medical field, as a matter of fact. Whether you want to be a doctor or a PA, it don't matter. Anything in the medical field, these are 8 things I want you to think about. And I'm sure there's more, I'm sure there's tons, but I'm gonna give you 8, right? So the first one is trauma. You have to understand that you're gonna deal with trauma on a daily basis, especially if you're working in a hospital. Because on any given day, there can be a car crash. Any given day, there can be a shooting. Any given day, there could be a stabbing. You know, you just don't know. Any kind of trauma, you have to deal with that. You have to make sure that when you go to the ER, your stomach can handle that, to see blood everywhere, or to see, you know, family members crying, you know, things like that. Like you have to build a tough skin for the medical field. Like, it's not easy. And sometimes they're your friends, man. Sometimes they're your friends. Sometimes they're your family members. And even it don't have to be a gunshot family member, but they could go in because they have a stomach flu, or they have a headache, and you know, you worry for them too, man, because you're like, oh man, I have to do their CAT scan. What if I see something? You know what I'm saying? Like that is all traumatic, you know, and it's stressful. So that's things that you have to understand that when you work in the hospital setting. 2, like we talked about blood. Can you handle blood? There's plenty of blood in the ER, plenty of blood in outpatients. Like, I know some people can be like, oh, if I see blood, I'm gonna faint. This ain't for you, player. You can't handle this career, because all we deal with is blood on a daily basis. Even if you don't even work in a hospital and you do CT, you have to start an IV, so you're gonna see blood. Some people can't even see that tiny blood like that because they'll get nauseous or whatever. So if you cannot deal with blood, if you look at your own blood and you faint or something, then go be an IT person, man, or something like that. And no disrespect to any other career, I'm just letting y'all know, that this is a lot of blood involved. So think about that. The third one is the smells. If I can tell you, bro, the smells that you deal with on a daily basis. You can't explain it until you're actually in it. You pass by a room, you're like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to build this skin. Like, especially if you guys out there, y'all young with no kids, no nothing, oof, y'all gonna have a field day with that, man, because some of these smells, man, are horrible. Especially gangrene. If you can't handle smells, I mean, yes, there's masks. You can put N95 mask on, whatever. You know, we do that on a daily basis now because of COVID. So yeah, there's masks. But there's some smells that will haunt you forever. I ain't gonna lie to you. Or they'll stay in your nostrils for weeks, and you're like, man, I haven't been to work and I can still smell it. You know, so that's something you have to understand that you're gonna deal with on a daily basis. Not just once in a while. Every day you go to work, there's gonna be a funky smell somewhere. Just being honest, it's for real. So if you can't handle that, this ain't the career for you. 4, you have to make sure that you're ready to be fast-paced, multitask, because the ER patients coming in do not stop. They don't. You know, right? You know, we have like a little screen in the department, right? And it tells you so and so how many people are in the ER and how many radiology exams they ordered. And as soon as they order, like they come in sets. I don't know why. It just happens, right? So you're like, okay, they ordered 3 X-rays in a row. Okay, you go with the portable. You do you do them portably, and you come back. You're like, okay, we caught up. As soon as you sit down, 4 more. You're like, I was just there. But that's how the ER is. The ER is fast-paced. You have to make sure that you're able to be on your feet for a long time, because it's rare you'll sit. Now, an X-ray, there's a lot of workers there, so you know, you kind of like share the load a little bit. But then again, if you're a good coworker, man, and you're a team player, you're not gonna ever let your coworker go do portables on their own. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing anything, you're gonna go help out. You know what I'm saying? That's the right thing to do. You're in there for patient care, so you're helping each other take care of patients. So you're not gonna let your coworker go by themselves and be like, oh, go ahead, you can put their plate behind their back, or you can lift their big foot and whatever. Sometimes patients are not that easy. So if you're not doing anything, go help out. But it is very, very fast paced, man, especially when you work weekends, especially when you work alone, especially when you work overnight. That ain't no joke, man. So that's something that you have to think of. It's not easy to a lot of people can't handle fast pace. And in the beginning I was cool with it. Now I'm like, okay, I'm getting older, man. You know what I'm saying? The fast pace got to calm down for me. But it is fast paced, very, very fast paced. You have to understand that you have to multitask. So, 99% of the time, your bosses are going to be frustrated. Managers, bosses, leads, for whatever reason. Oh, there's too many floral cases today. Oh, so-and-so called off. Now who's going to cover it? Then they're going to ask you, hey, you want to cover it? Be like, nah, I can't today. If you can, you can. But most people have lives outside of work. You know what I'm saying? You want to go home to your kid. You want to go home to your wife. You want to come to whatever hobby you have besides work. So that's something you have to think about when you go into radiology or any kind of field. And they're like, hey, man, you want to be a lead. You're really good at it. You want to be a lead. You have to understand when you take leads and manager positions, if somebody can't cover it, you're going to have to cover it. That's just the way it goes, because you cannot force somebody to stay. Even if you do an on-call list or whoever's going to be next to stay or whatever, you can do that. But sometimes it's just going to come down to hey, man, you're going to have to do it. So 90% of the time, man, the bosses are frustrated. They're pulling their hair out because they have to deal with too much. They have to deal with the department. They didn't have to deal with daily emails. They didn't have to deal with the director. Like it's a lot, man. So just be prepared for your boss to be overly stressed, and 99% of the time they're gonna take it out on you. That they gotta hey, it's gonna have to foster somewhere, right? So you're gonna be it. So if you can't handle somebody being on your back all the time, or being bipolar, because 5 minutes ago they can be cool, and then boom, they switch and they're like, if you can't handle that, I'm sure there's bosses like that everywhere, but in medical field, man, it's that much more stressful because, like I said before, you're dealing with patients, life or death situations. You're not dealing with stolen merchandise at Walmart. This is like real life human being stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna be stressed out. Think about that. Number 6 is learning how to work short staff. Remember how I said, oh, if you're not doing nothing, go help your partner? Well, sometimes you don't have nobody to help you. Sometimes you just have to overworked, short-staffed and overworked. Remember that, especially nurses everywhere. Honestly, nurses, radiologists, some nurses have up to 8 to 10 patients per nurse. I don't even know if that's even legal, but it happens. Now, think about this too. If you're a nurse, right, and you have 8 to 10 patients, and nurses deal with a lot of medication, can you imagine if you give so-and-so the wrong medication and, God forbid, they pass away? That's your license. That's on you, not your bosses, not the hospital. That's on you because you took that role on. And they're going to wipe their hands. I mean, as bad as it sounds, they're going to wipe their hands and be like, look, she's a registered nurse. She took all those patients in the beginning of her shift. If she couldn't handle it, she should have said, I can't handle 8 patients. Give me 6. Sometimes you don't have a choice and then they'll force it on you, and that's a different story. But if you speak up in the beginning, there's probably something they can do. So think about that. Overly worked. Radiology. Be like, hey man, I need you to go do these portables. Hey, I need you to go upstairs, go change, go do this oral case. Oh, there's a floral, I need you to get this floral. Oh, so-and-so ain't coming, they're gonna be here late. Oh yeah, it happens all the time. And not only that, when you have to go home at 3:30 and Johnny don't come in till 5 o'clock to relieve you because you're supposed to go home at 3:30, oh, it happens all the time. People aren't always dependable, and things happen. Don't get me wrong. It's not because sometimes because that's just the way they are. But sometimes it's just legitimate reasons, man. Life happens too, you know what I'm saying? So you can't blame the coworker for life happening. Life happens. That's what it is. But it's not like a corporate office, bro. At 3 o'clock, everything shuts down regardless. It's a 24-hour hospital. And even urgent cares, they're open to 8 o'clock at night. And if a patient comes in at 7:59, they're going to see that patient because it's not 8 o'clock yet. So guess what? You have to stay extra till that patient goes home. That happens all the time. So think about that before you get into the medical field, man, because it's a high stressful, high rewarding job. Be prepared. Also, if you work in a hospital and you're in a radiology, I don't know how nurses are, but radiology, respiratory, what else? Probably another one. I'm not sure. I can't think of it at the top of my head. But make sure and be prepared that you're going to be on call. It happens. If you go home and you're like, you know what, this week I only work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know, I'm going to take the weekend off, blah, blah. Nah, player. They got you on the call list, which means that you can't do anything. You can't drink with your friends. You can watch the game, but you better be prepared to be at the hospital if they call you in the next 30 minutes. That's the life of the medical field, man. You'll be on call. So be prepared for that. If you can't handle being on call and you can't handle like, you know, oh, I'm chilling with my family, being home, relaxing, you know what I'm saying? You know, drinking a few, enjoying life, right? And then boom, hey man, they ordered 5 OR stat cases. We need you to come and do 1 or 2 of them. You're like, man, I just sat down. I was just about to watch the Cowboys play. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta go to work. You gotta go to work, bro. It's your responsibility because you're on call. Now, you're not gonna be on call every weekend, but when you are, be prepared for that. Think about that. A lot of people don't think about that. They're like, oh, it's the medical field, blah, blah, you know, this and that. And you're like, oh, I got to take call? I got to work overnight? I got to work short staff? What? Yes, it does happen. I'm just keeping it 100. You know, if you come on this channel, we keep it 100, bro. We don't sugarcoat anything. I'm letting you know because I've been in this for a long time. I've seen it all. And you will be on call. So number 8, this is the most important one that you guys have to understand, that when you're in the medical field, especially working in a hospital, you as crazy as it sounds, man, as crazy as it sounds, you have to be comfortable with death. You have to be comfortable with seeing dead people. I'm not saying on a daily basis, but it does happen. You're gonna have to deal with sick kids crying. And if you have kids and you know that cry, it breaks your heart. It does, man, because you can't do anything. You know, they're sick, they're this, they're that. You can't do anything and they're in pain. And if you have kids, it'll get to you once in a while. You see loved ones that passed away, not loved ones to you. You might not know them, but you definitely hear them, people in the ER crying. You know, my grandma passed away. Oh, that's my mom. Oh, that was my brother. That's something you have to think about. Death is a big, vital role in the medical field, especially in a hospital. And you just have to, as bad as it sounds, like I said, it's crazy. It's not bad. It's just crazy. The tough skin you have to build to work in this field, man, is hard. Because when you see that, you can let that deter you from doing your job. Because then you're gonna make a mistake because you get all emotionally attached to what's going on. And it's hard at times. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But anyway, guys, I hope this helped you. As always, thank you for watching.